In the theater of global economics, nations compete for attention, announcing triumphs, explaining failures, seeking partnerships. Yet, on the Horn of Africa, Eritrea has mastered a different art, the art of silence. As the world's financial institutions release forecasts for 2025, Asmara remains quiet, not from neglect, but by design. This is a calculated strategy, a declaration that Eritrea will walk its own path, no matter how lonely. Silence here is a powerful statement, a rejection of the global consensus and the notion that engagement with institutions like the IMF is essential. For Eritrea, silence is a shield, protecting its sovereignty from what it sees as intrusive demands of international finance. In a world demanding transparency, Eritrea offers a void, forcing outsiders to guess, never inviting them in. The nation defines itself not by what it says, but by what it refuses to say. This philosophy is rooted in a long, bitter struggle for independence. Eritrean identity forged in defiance and self-reliance. Self-reliance is not just policy, it's the country's guiding spirit. Eritrea will not be beholden to foreign powers or accept loans with strings attached. It will not surrender its economic secrets, knowing that data is power. As 2025 approaches, the silence continues, a stance that sets Eritrea apart from nearly every other nation. While others clamor for a seat at the table, Eritrea guards its autonomy with quiet determination. The world may not understand, but for Eritrea, this silence is the sound of freedom. It's a political and economic stance, a message to the world. Eritrea chooses its own way. In the global cacophony, Eritrea's silence is deliberate, defiant, and deeply meaningful. Here, silence is not absence, it's presence, and it's power. Each year, the IMF publishes its World Economic Outlook, a financial map of the planet. For Africa, 2025 is a tapestry of hope and hardship. Some economies surge, others struggle. Nations engage, debate, and seek guidance from the IMF. Yet within this global document, Eritrea is a blank space. The IMF's forecasts and recommendations do not apply. Eritrea is missing. There are no official statements, no press conferences, no engagement. The chair reserved for Eritrea at the global economic table remains empty. The reason is simple. Eritrea does not provide reliable economic data. This is not an oversight, it's policy. Eritrea's non-engagement is deliberate, setting it apart from neighbors who participate in IMF programs and share national accounts. Eritrea does not seek major loans or routine consultations. This places it among a select few nations for which the global financial system cannot get a clear picture. Its absence is not a sign of being forgotten, but a choice to remain unknowable. Eritrea keeps the world at arm's length, following a path of its own making. To understand Eritrea's silence, look to its history, a nation born from a 30-year war for independence. This struggle fostered deep suspicion of external forces and a fierce sense of self-sufficiency. Independence in 1993 brought an economic philosophy built on discipline, sacrifice, and reliance on its own capabilities. Eritrea's fortress economy is designed for resilience, not global integration. The government rarely publishes comprehensive statistics. GDP, inflation, and unemployment are state secrets. The last full IMF consultation was in 2019, the first in over a decade. This information vacuum is intentional, denying outsiders the tools to analyze or influence. The state and ruling party dominate the economy, directing resources according to their own priorities. The private sector is small and constrained, limiting global influence. Eritrea's model prioritizes stability and sovereignty, keeping the gates closed and information tightly controlled. Only Eritrea charts its own economic course. Without official data, the IMF turns to unconventional methods, economic espionage. Satellite imagery becomes a proxy. Nighttime lights reveal economic activity, while daytime images track mining and port operations. Trade partner data fills gaps. Eritrea's imports and exports are reconstructed from the records of China, the UAE, and neighbors. Remittances from the diaspora are tracked through global banking systems, offering clues to the economy's lifelines. Migration patterns and refugee reports provide qualitative insights into living conditions. It's an imperfect puzzle, but these fragments create a rough sketch of an economy determined to remain hidden. The IMF reads Eritrea's shadows, piecing together what little it can. Eritrea's economy is not stagnant. It has unique engines of growth, largely outside the global system. The mining sector, rich in gold, copper, and potash, is the powerhouse, generating hard currency through exports. Foreign companies partner with the state, funding essential imports and state functions. The vast Eritrean diaspora is another vital engine. Remittances provide a crucial social safety net and foreign exchange. These funds help families survive and fuel a limited consumer economy. Regional trade, though volatile, offers potential. Eritrea's Red Sea ports could be major revenue earners. Yet, chronic shortages of foreign currency, heavy state control, and high public debt stifle growth. Infrastructure is outdated, and private enterprise is discouraged. Even when mining and remittances thrive, the economy struggles to move forward. Eritrea's engines run, but the vehicle remains slow. The challenges are immense, and progress is hard-won. Eritrea's path of silence and isolation is rooted in its doctrine of self-reliance. Engagement with the IMF is seen as a threat to sovereignty. IMF conditions like privatization and austerity are unacceptable intrusions. The government believes external aid creates dependency, preferring slow, state-directed development. National service and state control are central. IMF reforms would challenge these pillars. By remaining silent, Eritrea shields its political structure from external scrutiny. For Eritrea, silence is the ultimate expression of independence, a shield against a world it does not fully trust. Eritrea's uniqueness is starkest when compared to its neighbor, Ethiopia. While Eritrea builds a fortress, Ethiopia has opened its doors to the IMF, trading some sovereignty for financial lifelines. Ethiopia's reforms, liberalizing markets, increasing transparency, contrast sharply with Eritrea's isolation. Eritrea's leadership views Ethiopia's path with skepticism, seeing IMF conditions as a loss of control. Eritrea's silence is its counter-argument, enduring hardship to preserve autonomy. The lifting of UN sanctions in 2018 did not change Eritrea's stance. The Horn of Africa is a real-world experiment. Two neighbors, two divergent strategies. The world watches to see which path leads to lasting progress. So, is Eritrea's silence a shield or a trap? As a shield, it has protected the nation from crushing debt and preserved its sovereignty. But the costs are high: slow development, limited investment, and persistent hardship. Eritrea's economy remains small and vulnerable, missing opportunities for growth and integration. The people pay the price through limited opportunities and a steady exodus of youth. As Africa becomes more interconnected, Eritrea risks being left behind. The shield that once protected it could become a wall blocking progress. The government has chosen sovereignty over prosperity, control over growth. Is this a necessary defense or a self-imposed prison? Only time will tell if Eritrea's silence remains its strength or becomes its greatest barrier.